Hello and welcome to another video. So we're covering an unlimited D-Shift deck. I haven't done a D-Shift video in just a little while, so I thought why not give it a go. This deck list looked okay, so why not cover it for this video. So we're going to get right into it and check it out. So first up on our list is Forest. D-Shift is pretty average against Forest normally, because Forest does tend to deal with it pretty well in most cases, because they are more aggressive, meaning D-Shift has to kind of do their best to stave off an early game over. But we have the cards to do that now. We have got the Dimensional Shift, we have one Glow, and we have one Missile. Missile and Glow work very well against Forest, so having one of each is going to be very good for us. We then also get the Mysterian Knowledge, which is a great kind of card to get. We can definitely use that on turn 3 if we want to. And then Gourmet Emperor. Not something I can deal with Glow, but Mysterian Knowledge, when we get Mysterian Missile out of it, works pretty nicely. Gets us that little bit of chip damage in, and also allowed us to remove that while spell boosting twice that turn. Really couldn't have asked for a much better turn that turn. Immediate follow-up, we can go straight into a Magic Missile, into probably a Magic Owl play. Luckily, playing the draw first did give us a second D-Shift, meaning this Owl does get maximum value on this hand. Being able to drop down 4 cards by 2 each is pretty reasonable for a single Owl. We still have Sorcery Cache and Glow, which could be a pretty decent turn 5, although the 6-2 is threatening us. So we'll use the Sorcery Cache first, because I don't have many other options. Luckily that did draw us another Owl, so back-to-back Owls is amazing. This is the kind of plays you want when you're playing D-Shift. That very easily sets us up with a nice 9-cost D-Shift and a 15-cost. Once we drop this 9-cost down, we should nearly be able to play it in the next turn or so. Unfortunately not this turn, because Beauty and the Beast is a nightmare, so we are going to have to use our Flame Destroyer if we want to have a decent chance at dealing with this. Especially considering they would have lethal if they have Ariat, and I didn't want to have to deal with that. But it does mean they've just delayed the inevitable, so a couple of turns. We have Wind Blast and Glow. Glow should work well on this carrot, at least buying us a little more time, and we still have a Cache and Wind Blast to use. Do decide to use the sorcery this time on the second Dimensional Shift, as we've already got the first one within the range we want it, so why not just use that on the other one. Now we have a really good chance. This Magic Missile is going to drop this down quite comfortably, and one Chimera will pick Rose Queen off. Plus our Dimensional Shift setup and a second Chimera, that gives us a total of 8 damage this turn coming up with the D-Shift, and we have another D-Shift to play straight off that. Of course, we also have the Ping, which is pretty decent as well. Unfortunately, we are going to be just off lethal, although we can try with this Golem Assault to try and get something decent to use. Fortunately, we did get double Fate's Hand and Conjure Golem, so with the Conjure Guardian, we do have a reasonable hand. These Chimeras being returned are also really good. Being able to reuse them, and now having all 3 Fates, we're going to get amazing amounts of value out of these Conjure Guardians. So those alone present a massive threat, and now we have an absolutely insane hand. Fortunately, being one off last turn really did suck, but we did manage to dig out our other Angelic Snipe, with just that nice 1 damage pickoff that we needed. So it took a little bit longer than I was hoping, but it worked. And so in this game we are versing Sword, and for memory it is a control variant of Sword. So very difficult for something like D-Shift to deal with, because they do tend to run things like Roland, which can be pretty difficult to get around. But that doesn't make things impossible. We have 2 Glows, which are good against Sword's early game, and a Dimensional Shift already. Getting D-Shift in your opener along with a couple of low-cost spells is pretty much ideal. And there is another decent card to use, the Chimera. And then Lux just kind of pulling a commander for them. We'll take advantage of that and return it. just bulk up their hand. Sure, they're probably going to use it again to draw more cards, but at this point, so are we. We're using it and abusing it to draw more cards and spell boost our hand. So Insight is first, and an immediate glow. There are probably better cards I could return, but that was still a pretty reasonable one to use it on. There is Holy Bear Knight, and a Bladed Hedgehog. So we don't quite have enough to effectively remove both of these. So we do decide to just go face. Luckily we also draw the Magic Owl, which is going to be a perfect card to use on this hand. If I had have thought this through a little bit though, I probably would have went for... Oh no, I did end up... I was going to say, I go for the Sorcery Cache and then use the Owl. Probably could have done the Fate's Hand first and then got hopefully even more value off the Owl, but I think this was reasonable enough. Yeah, and Magnus, I don't know. Pronunciation, never my strong suit. So they remove my Owl, which is completely fine, and get a little bit of damage in. Of course, we are going to deal with these fairly effectively, and another sorcery on this D-Shift does give us a quite comfortable D-Shift to use. And we have heaps of draw power now, with Fate's Hand basically clogging us up right to the top. Even burning a card because we're that game at this point. Mainly just making sure that our D-Shift is as low as possible and our Chimera and Flame Destroyer are as low as we can get them. So you will see a little error on my part in this play. I could have dealt with this Roland and stuff much more effectively than I'm about to, because I completely blanked on the fact that these weren't protected from damage until after I'd already done my plays. But we go pretty well. We do get to use the Owl, which is going to deal 4 damage to this Roland pretty comfortably. Then we only need the 1. I should have used that on the Roland instead, because then we would have removed it. I would have set the Dimensional Shift up a little better, and I wouldn't have had to worry at all about having to draw my second one. I'm just lucky I did draw the second one upon realizing. So we get a chance, we can use our Magic Missile, we finally get to clear that. We can use our Angelic Snipe just to ping that extra damage, Wind Blast on the 5-2, and just kind of set up as many things as possible so we can go face for as much as we can. Of course, that Evo was also a slight mistake. I think it's okay because we were using it on something that was protected anyway, but we could have got 1 extra damage there, which would have been just that little bit better. And then Darksaber Melissa does really create a hard card to deal with. Of course, if that's all they've got, it's not a problem, as we are going to win this anyway at this point. The Melissa is removed by 2 large drops, and we have exactly 6 damage. Could have probably done that another way, but that worked out quite well for this deck. Not bad at all. So hope you guys did enjoy this video. I had a lot of fun with this deck. As always, D-Shift is some people hate it, some people love it. It's just one of those decks. You either enjoy playing D-Shift or you don't. Of course, I personally hate playing against D-Shift, but when you're playing it, it actually feels quite good. So it's just one of those decks that is fun to play, not so much fun to play against. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Hit that like button and subscribe. Deck list will be in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.